Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. In today's video, we're going to be going over and talking about an incredible Bigfoot encounter that I personally have never even heard of before until quite recently. It's a historic Bigfoot encounter that details the experience of two Salish native women who were kidnapped by Bigfoot and held captive for 4 years before they were finally able to escape back to their people. This story apparently takes place in British Columbia, as far as I can tell, as the story is called The Lytton Girls Who Were Stolen by Giants. And this is the title that was given to the story for the book Folk Tales of Salishan and Sahaptin Tribes, which was published way back in 1917. So right from the start, here we have a tale that predates the famous Bigfoot craze of the 1950s. This is back before even the Albert Ostman tale, and may even potentially predate the Bowman story, where the Bigfoot creature ripped the throat out of Bowman's trapping partner. There's no date actually listed for this tale, but I'm assuming it's from the 1800s, and at what point in that century, I have no idea. In the Bigfoot community, you always hear people talking about stories of First Nations women being taken by Sasquatch or kidnapped for whatever reason. And this is the first one I've found that is actually documented in a published work. Anyways, I'll stop babbling on with this introduction and get right into the story. The Lytton Girls Who Were Stolen by Giants. Once some people were camped on the hills near Lytton, and among them were two girls who were fond of playing far away from the camp. Their father warned them against the giants who infested the country. One day they rambled off playing as usual, and two giants saw them. They put them under their arms and ran off with them to their house on an island in a large river, a long distance away. They treated them kindly and gave them plenty of game to eat. First they brought them grouse, rabbits, and other small game. But when they learned that the girls also ate deer, they brought to them plenty of deer, and the girls made much buckskin. The giants were much amused when they saw how the girls cut up the deer, how they cooked the meat and dressed the skins. For 4 days the girls were almost overcome by the smell of the giants, but gradually they became used to it. For 4 years they lived with the giants, who would carry them across the river to dig roots and gather berries which did not grow on the island. One summer the giants took them a long distance away, to a place where huckleberries were very plentiful. They knew that the girls liked huckleberries very much. They left them to gather berries and said they would go hunting and come back in a few days to take them home. The elder sister recognized the place as not many days' travel from their people's home, and they ran away. When the giants returned for them, they found them gone and followed their tracks. When the girls saw that they were about to be overtaken, they climbed into the top of a large spruce tree where they could not be seen. They tied themselves with their tump lines. The giants, who had lost their tracks, thought they must be in the tree and tried to discover them. They walked all around and looked up, but could not see them. They thought, "If they are there, we shall shake them out." They shook the tree many times and pushed and pulled against it, but the tree did not break and the girls did not fall down. Therefore the giants left, and after they'd gone, the girls came down and ran on. The giants were looking all around for their tracks, when at last they came to a place where the girls had passed. They pursued them, and when the girls saw that they would be overtaken, they crawled, one from each end, into a large hollow log on a side hill. They closed the openings with branches, which they tied together with their tump lines. The giants lost their tracks again, and thought they might be in the log. They pulled at the branches, but they did not move. They peered in through some small cracks, but could not see anything. They tried to roll the log down the hill, to shake out whatever might be inside, but it was too heavy. After a while they left. When they were gone, the girls ran on as before, and after a time reached a hunting camp of their own people in the mountains. During their flight they had lived on berries and fool hens. Their moccasins were worn out and their clothes torn. They told the people how the giants lived and acted. So there you have it, an incredible tale documenting the experience of two girls who were kidnapped by Bigfoot and spent, a brisk 4 years living with them. I really like this story because if it is true, it's probably one of the first reports of Sasquatch having a really foul smell. And we hear all the time about the rotten odor that these creatures apparently have, and it says in this tale that they could barely stand it at all during the first few days of their Bigfoot kidnapping adventure. Eventually they just got used to it, which I suppose after 4 years, you would. I should also say that at no point in the story is there any mention of the word Bigfoot. Bigfoot is a name for these creatures that didn't become a thing until the 50s. So before that, they were just called wild men, giants, or whatever name was given to them by the countless First Nations tribes that describe having interactions with them. I think, though, that it is safe to assume these are Sasquatch creatures. They are described as, horrendously smelling giants, which apparently Sasquatch are. But in the story, they don't make any mention of being covered in hair. That's kind of suspect, as you'd think that would be a feature worth mentioning that would really stand out. If this does in fact describe what we know as Bigfoot, this could be a great report on what kinds of food they would gather and consume to stay alive out in the wilderness. You do hear the odd report nowadays, or you hear tales of Sasquatch killing deer or whatever else, to eat. But in this story, you have so many different food items that were gathered by the creatures to help keep these girls alive. And that kind of brings me to another point. Obviously, the girls would want to get away and back to their families, so after trying to escape, the creatures become more aggressive, and they do what they can to try and keep them. But I find it interesting that during their stay, the creatures are, extremely benevolent and provide whatever survival items the girls need. And it makes me wonder if this isn't just a tale that was created to scare kids into not playing too far from home. Because at the beginning of the story, it says the girls were fond of playing far away from the camp. And, kids who heard the story would probably be scared to venture away from the safety of their homes. However, after the girls are initially taken, it's not like the creatures, terrorized them in any way or attacked them. It's just very strange, and I don't 100% know what to make of it. I feel like it's most likely an authentic story, however the chance is always there that it's a tale made up for children to convince them to stay close, and don't venture out into the dangerous woods where you can get lost and potentially kidnapped by Bigfoot or giants as the story describes. Anyways, let me know what you guys make of this story. Do you think it's legit? If not, tell us why down in the comment section. That's all I have for today's video. If you want to support the channel and what we do here, you can do so using the GoFundMe link in the video description. Every donation helps to keep the channel moving forward and getting new content produced. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.